afternoon class. In today's geology lecture, we are going to see the endocrine function of kidney and heart. So, when we are talking about the endocrine functions, simply we are talking about the glands or some organ which are responsible for the secretion. And here in this portion, we are talking about the secretion of hormones. So, majorly when we talk about the endocrine system or when we are talk about the endocrine glands, the glands which come in our mind that are about like the pituitary gland, hypothalamus, gonads. So these are the major kind of endocrine glands which are present inside our body and synthesize and breakingly secrete the hormones to regulate most of our metabolic functions inside our body. Or you can say hormone regulates most of the function inside our body, and if hormones are not present or not secreted in a sufficient amount, then major malfunctions or you can say major problems can be happen inside our body. So now in this lecture we are going to see how kidney and heart work for their endocrine function. They are not the major kind of glands, but yes, kidney and heart also have a role to play inside the endocrine system. So the first we are going to see here the endocrine function of the kidney. How kidney do the endocrine function or what important kind of hormones which has to be secreted by kidney and what are their functions. So the kidney produces three important hormones. So the first thing is we have to see what are the hormones which are produced by the kidney. So the three hormones which are produced by kidney here, erythropoietin, that is the first hormone, calcitriol, or you can say 125 dihydroxychlorocalciferol. So basically, in short, we call them the calcitriol and renin. So these are the three major hormones which are produced by the kidney: erythropoietin, calcitriol, and renin. They also synthesize prostaglandin. Okay, they are responsible for synthesizing the prostaglandin, which affect many processes inside the kidney. So, kidney is a very important unit of our body, basically refining our body, or you can say cleaning of our body, has a important role which has been played by the kidney inside our body. So, in addition to synthesize, the kidney also contribute to the degradation of certain hormones. So, as we just seen that the kidney is responsible for synthesizing these three kind of hormones, or you can say the kidney is responsible for secreting these three hormones. That is okay. They are doing this, or kidney is doing this, but still apart from the synthesizing, they are also contributed for the degradation of so many hormones or certain hormones like insulin and parathyroid hormone. So basically, these are the very famous kind or important kind of hormone which are going to degrade inside the kidney. So in the if when we are talking about insulin degradation inside the kidney, so they form insulinase that cleave the insulin. So basically, the formation of inclusinase enzyme has been occurred inside the kidney that is responsible for cleaving the insulin, and in this way, we got the degradation of insulin and parathyroid hormone inside the kidney. So we will going to see our hormones which are synthesized by kidney one by one. So the first here we are talking about erythropoietin. Okay, erythropoietin. This is a peptide hormone. Like the hormones can be the steroid based, peptide based. So this is a basically peptide based hormone. Mostly the peptide based are the hormones. Most of the hormones are made up of the proteins. So which regulate erythropoiesis. So as their name suggests, their major function is also for the regulation of erythropoiesis. This is the function that erythropoietin does inside the kidney. Now we will going to see what are their structure and function. So erythropoietin is a glycoprotein. Okay, so glycogen plus protein. So this is a can say the derived kind of protein. This is not a simplest form. This is a mixture of two kind of molecule and making it one, like glyco and plus protein. They are containing 165 amino acids. So you can see this is a little large structure having 165 amino acids. Its receptors are present on the membrane of red blood cell precursors. So if we see where they are going to bind for showing their activity, actually hormones needed to be bind at the surface before it going to start their activity. So binding with the receptor is first process for the hormone working. So basically here when they are going to find their receptor, so their receptors they are present on the red blood cell precursor membrane. Binding of the hormone reduce apoptosis of these cells and multiplying cells survive can therefore complete their development into the mature erythrocyte. So apoptosis is you can say this is the early death of the cell without even maturing and developing. So when this hormone erythropoiesis when it act on the membrane of red blood cell precursor, so when they bind their major function is to reduce apoptosis. So when they reduce apoptosis, so the cell which have been saved by this, they will going to multiple cell going to survive and they can therefore complete their total development into the mature erythrocyte. So now they are having their whole life by having the erythropoietin on their blood cell precursor. This was the function of the erythropoiesis. Now we are going to see about our next hormone of kidney, that is calcitriol. So, as the name suggesting here, calcitriol is means if we see in an elaborated full name that is little complex. So we prefer to call them the calcitriol, 125 dihydroxy chlorocalciferol. So this is a way more name you cannot maybe remember it. So that's why we have to use a short name calcitriol. So calcitriol stimulate the small intestine for protein synthesis, allowing absorption of calcium and phosphate. So here, what is the function of calcitriol? Calcitriol are determined for stimulating the small intestine, and for what they are stimulating? They are stimulating the protein synthesis, allowing absorption of calcium ions and phosphate. So basically, when they stimulate the intestine, they are stimulating the absorption, increased rate of absorption of calcium and phosphorus intake. When the calcium and phosphorus intake has been higher, they will going to start the protein synthesis. This ensure the availability of calcium. So this ensure the major availability of calcium and phosphate for the bone growth. So as you all know that for having a mature bone, the basic fundamental components they are the calcium and phosphorus, or you can say calcium or phosphorus. They should be present in a maximized version to have a greater bone density. So basically for having a greater bone density, we are going to need them. And this process can be happened by the calcitriol hormone produced by kidney. That's why this name is also suggested to related to calcium, this calcium and phosphate. So calcitriol stimulate activate osteoblasts to synthesize collagen also. So also that was the first work done by the calcitriol, and second work is for the activating the osteoblast to synthesize the collagens. For synthesizing the collagens, they has to activate the osteoblast. This was the second hormone function. Now we are going to see the third function of kidney, or you can say third hormone of the kidney. This is the renin. Before going to renin, we have to understand the major functioning of the renin that depend on this complex. You can say this system that is called the renin angiotensin system, or you can say the RAS. or sometimes it is called as renin angiostensin aldosterone system, that is called RAAS, is a hormonal system because it include the functions of hormone for stimulating their you can say stimulating their process. So why this process is happen inside our body to regulate the blood pressure, fluid, electrolyte balance, as well as systematic vascular resistance. So all these functions, they are very important kind of function, and they needed to be run smoothly inside our body. So proper smoothing or necessity of these functions, we need renin to be present inside them. And now we are going to see how renin actually balance all these functions. Mostly, this renin actually regulate or formed inside the kidney when we are going to face some low blood pressure. So renin, this is a part of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system RAAS. In this case, in the case of insufficient blood flow to the kidney, like the decrease in blood volume, cell of the renal juxtaglomerular apparatus. So basically, when the this kind of reduced blood flow has been faced by the kidney, so there is a specific aperture, there is a specific cells started to working inside them, and they are called renal juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this purpose of this apparatus to begin the synthesis of protein renin. So actually, there is a protein, or you can say this is the pronins which are present inside the blood, and these pronins from the blood. Now, from this pronin, this renal juxtaglomerular apparatus start to make renin from the pronin by having some conformational changes. By having some biochemical and conformational changes, they convert the pronin into the renin, and renin have now to play an important role inside whole this low blood pressure situation. Now we are going to see how renin is going to stimulate the blood pressure in the high level. Renin is an enzyme which catalyzes the conversion of the plasmatic angiostensin to the angiostensin 1. Now, the first thing what renin is going to catalyze, renin is enzyme, sorry, renin is a hormone. So, basically, the function is hormone for the catalyzation or increase the rate of reaction. By increasing the rate of reaction, they got the product which they wanted as a fast rate. So the plasmatic angiostenogen to angiostensin 1, how they are going to make it? By having the renin as an enzyme or which is going to catalyze it. After that, when this angiostensin 1 will be formed, then this will again converted into the angiostensin 2 by this angiostensin converting enzyme. So there will another enzyme that has to be stimulated by the renin function, that is angiostensin converting enzyme, which is going to convert angiostensin 1 to the angiostensin 2, which going to stimulate the aldosterone synthesis, that this one. This aldosterone synthesis will be in synthesized by, and this will cause a vasoconstriction. And what is vasoconstriction? Actually, this vasocontraction basically reduce the vessel area, the area in which blood flows, vessels. So vessels area has to be reduced by this vasocontraction. Constriction is always reducing the area, so the vessels, the blood capillaries area will be reduced by this vasoconstriction, and when the area will be reduced, pressure is high. So area reduced and pressure is going to their normal range. So that's why this whole process happens here in the case of insufficient blood flow. To make it as a sufficient blood flow or increasing the rate of blood flow, we can use this phenomenon. Now, this was all about how the kidney work with their all these three hormones. Okay, renin, we understand, I think. Calcitrols, we know that for the intake of calcium and phosphate, for the stimulating the protein synthesis, and also for the synthesizing collagen, they activate the osteoblast. Erythroprotein, we understand the erythroprotein is a basic glycoprotein, and their regulation for the erythropoiesis, or you can say reducing apoptosis or early death of the cell, that can be done by the erythropoietin, and they will be causing the long developed and mature erythrocyte inside the blood. So this is all function of kidney. Now we will going to see how our heart function as an endocrinic unit. So the heart release natriuretic peptide which act to lower blood pressure. Now this is can see this is the opposite function which was kidney doing. Kidney was doing in the renin, angiostensin, and ROS system, or in short RAS. In the RAS, the kidney was doing to increase the blood flow. But in heart, now heart what is doing? Heart releases a natriuretic peptide which lower the blood pressure. So this is the major, we can say, this is the major kind of endocrine function which has performed by the heart. Now, we in this table we are going to see there are just two hormones which are secreted by the heart, because we know that the kidney and heart, they are not a major endocrine system, or they are not major glands even. So they are not even glands typically. So so that's why they are just some have some potential hormone that is a unique thing to them, you can say, but their basic functions are so different. Major like the even some pancreas is a better endocrine system as comparison to kidney and heart, and majorly these others they are having the great kind of influence in the hormone and their function, their analysis. That is a bigger picture in those. But if we are, as we are talking about the heart and kidney, they are like primitive for this endocrine system. They just have two or three things to regulate and not much function, because they have other things to deal with. They cannot just loop in inside the hormonal analysis, synthesizing, releasing, and working with them. So, hormones which are secreted by the heart are the arterial natriuretic peptide and the other B-type natriuretic peptide. So, basically, both are the same. Only the difference between them is like where they are secreted from. Like the arterial, they are secreted from the arterial myocytes. So arterial myocytes are the source for the releasing of the hormone arterial natriuretic peptide, and ventricles of the heart, they are responsible for secreting the B-type natriuretic peptide. So these are the two hormones that are secreted by heart, from the one from the arterial and second one from the ventricle. Now we will going to see their actions, what actions they need to perform. So release in response to trigger, including arterial stretch. Okay, whenever they release, they got a trigger that is included the arterial stretch. When arteria or stretched due to some trigger, then they can secrete it. ANP increased, so ANP is arterial natriuretic peptide, increases sodium, thus water excretion at the kidney, reducing blood volume and thus pressure. So basically, this ANP, what their function is, increasing sodium, and when they increase the sodium, water excretion at the kidney will be increased. But in meanwhile, they are going to reduce the blood volume and also the pressure. So it is also inhibit the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system and relax arteries. So as when this RAS system work, they have a very high density inside the arteries. But by releasing this arterial natriuretic peptide ANP, if I should call that is better. By releasing the ANP, what heart is going? Heart is giving some relaxation to the arteriole to work in a lower manner, further reducing systematic blood pressure. And this is they both working in the loop. That's why we put them kidney and heart and like together to study, so we can study that how they work in loop. One is going to increase one thing, second one is working on to decrease that thing. B type, they decrease vascular resistance in the same ways as ANP, but is 10 times less potent. So Same work has to be done by the B type, but the difference between B type and A type, if we talk, it's like arterial mucocytes. So the major difference is it is have a less frequency, or you can say less intensity to do that same work, because maybe if we are doing that at a very high rate, sometimes it can be, disruption in some kind of function, or maybe at that time our blood body needs a high blood pressure. So that's why at that time, when the action should not be as much as great as the arterial monocytes have to do, then they will go by the B type nitrite peptides. So this two things was all about how the things work inside the heart and kidney. Now we have to see a little different pattern of the endocrine glands in the insect and their hormones and their role. So not only the humans and big thing have the hormonal thing, but also the insects also have a endocrine glands. So in this part of the lecture, we are going to see how the endocrine glands inside the insect work. So, a hormone is a chemical signal sent from cells in one part of an organism to cell in another part of the same individual. So, I think we clearly know the definition of hormone. That what is hormone? That is a kind of chemical signal that can be sent from one place to another place to do some job. Okay, so they are like the messenger. So they are often regarded as chemical messengers. So they just have some message inside them, transferring that message to the some other place and telling them what they want and what their needs. So that's why this they are called the chemical messenger. Although typically produced in very small quantity, but if we see their quantitative analysis, they produce in a very small quantities. They do not needed to be present in a very high amount, because high amount can do the opposite effect. So they just be produced in a very small quantity. They do not need to be present in a very high amount. Their effect may be stimulatory or inhibitory. So if we talk about their effects, so sometimes they work on the stimulation, like they are just going somewhere to increase the rate of reaction, increase the work which already has been doing there, but they are going to just to increase their rate. Sometimes they go for that purpose. Sometimes they also go as an inhibitory material, means the one which can reduce the rate. So that in that case we call them the inhibitors one. In some cases, a single hormone maybe have multiple targets and cause different effect in each target. Sometimes what happen, hormone is one and single, but maybe their targets are more. Like one single hormones can also affect on the digestive system, blood transfer, or sometimes excretion. So these are the different kind of function, different kind of cell, different kind of tissue, organ, which can be influenced by a single hormone. So they at that time we can say that hormones can be multitasking. They are just not specific to only doing one kind of thing at a time in a one place, but they can be work simultaneously at two or three time or other organs and can perform their work. There are at least four categories of hormones producing cells in an insect body. So now, like we have a proper gland system, but in the hormones producing inside the insect, there are four categories of the hormone they are producing inside the cells of the insect body. So first is a endocrine gland. So endocrine gland, if we are talking about, Okay, so as we are having a four categories of hormone that has to be produced by different cell inside the insects. So these endocrine gland, neurohemal organs, neurosecretory cell and internal organ. So these are the four cells, four part in which we are seeing that how the secretory cell going to secrete hormones of insects. So we will be going to take one by one like endocrine gland. First, they are the secretory structure adapted exclusively for producing hormone and releasing them into the circulatory system. So you know that endocrine glands they are destined to do these kind of functions, or you can say they are the secretory structures, and they adapted exclusively. What they are adapted for? They are adapted for the production of hormones, and basically after producing them, they needed to release them into our circulatory system. So as endocrine glands functions inside our body, same manner they function inside the insect's body. Neurohemal organs, second type of organ, which are similar to glands, but they store their secretory product in a special chamber until stimulated to release it by a signal from the nervous system. So they work on a condition. Like the endocrine gland, their function is just for the producing hormone, and they do not need any kind of instructions, conditions. But the neurohemal organ, they are like similar to glands. They are not exactly glands. They cannot produce the hormones on their own will. They needed some kind of instructions, they needed some kind of guidance, or you can say some kind of signal to produce the hormone. Until until and unless they didn't get any signal, they just store all the hormones inside a special chamber, neuroformal chamber. Otherwise, they will not release it. But as soon as they get a signal, even whenever they got a signal for producing from the nervous system, they are going to produce the hormones. So this signal also that what they got for the producing of hormone, that is also another hormone. Like in reproductive system, hypothalamus produce a hormone to signal to anterior pituitary to produce the FSH or LH. So same kind of system happens here. Another hormone is going to release by the main part for stimulating the other organ to produce the hormone. So this is the interlinked position. So actually, not all the kind of organs can produce every time hormones whenever they wanted to. Some has to be conditional based. Third type is here neurosecretory cells. So they are the specialized nervous cells, or like the neurons basically, and that respond to stimulation by producing and secreting specific chemical message. So they also respond, the neurons always respond to any kind of stimulation. So they also respond to the stimulation by producing and secreting specific chemical messages. So how they respond, how they stimulate, for stimulation, for you can say for showing their stimulation, what they do, they produce some very specific kind of chemical messenger, or these are a kind of hormones actually. Like hormones are also messenger. They just convey the message, whatever has to be done or what should we do next. So these are the work which messengers should be doing, and the hormones do that kind of work. Functionally, they serve as a link between the nervous system and the endocrine system. So these neurosecretory cells, they are like the junction between the nervous system and endocrine system. So whatever the condition, according to the condition inside the body, nervous cell always know what to do. And for doing these kind of special functions, they give instruction to the endocrine system to produce according to that. So according to that, or according to prediction of according to that, that has to be dependent on these neurosecretory cells. So you can say they are the intermediates in between the nervous system and endocrine system. Internal organs. So hormone producing cells are associated with the numerous organ of the body, including the ovaries, testes, fat bodies, and a part of digestive system. Internal organs, like inside our body too, we have a well sufficient kind of endocrine system. Along with that, we also have like pancreas, liver, they also behave like the you can say the endocrine glands. Maybe they are not as good endocrine gland, but in the cases or in the meanwhile functions, they also secrete hormones or juices for functioning of the body. So same here, they are the also the some internal different organs which responsible for the production of the hormones inside them, and these can be ovaries, these can be testes, fat bodies, and some part of their digestive system. So you can see that insect also have a very differentiated, diverse, and developed kind of endocrine system to hold each and every physiological activity inside their body. You can see the diagram of insect endocrine system. So these are the three organs which we are talking about. Neurosecretory cells, they are the in between the nervous system and endocrine system. Neurohamal organs, so these are the neurohamal organs which similar to the glands, but they store it like this. You can see wait a minute. Neurohamal organ. So you can even see it like this pouch-like structure. So in this pouch, they just store the hormones until or unless it is not needed inside the body. And when they got signal from the nervous system, so nervous system when going to tell them just to produce something or release the hormones. So on the basis of command or on the basis of signal, they are going to produce the hormone. Endocrine gland, this is a major gland which is responsible for the hormonal control inside the insect body. And the internal organs is like the infraredum, axon, hypophysis, ventricles, or digestive tracts, also ganglion. So these are the different pattern, and according to their need, they also secrete some of the hormonal activities or do hormonal activities or send something which is required inside the body according to their organ need. So that kind of endocrine system can be formed inside the insect. So together these hormone secreting structure, all these four, form the endocrine system of insects that help maintain homeostasis, coordinate behavior, regulate growth, development, and other physiological activities. So all the activities inside the insect, as like we are talking about here, homeostasis, coordinate behavior, regulate growth, development, physiological activities, these are collectively known, or you can say these are collectively done by the endocrine system of all four units. So this is all about the insect behavior. Now we will going to see the endocrine system here in a little detail, their major endocrine system. Hormones, they signal chemicals that travel through the circulatory system. This is their circulatory system, and by which the hormones are going to travel through the whole insect. Endocrine cell produce hormones. So endocrine cell, the major function. What is the major function of endocrine cells? They has to produce hormone. Neurosecretory cell, modified neurons. So neurosecretory cell, they have a major function here to perform. That is for the modification of neurons. Corpora caudata, inside them, I think you can able to see it here. Corpora caudata. And this is somewhere here. Corpus caudate. Okay, so this is the zone that's going to store and release neurohormones. So until or unless the hormones is not needed, they has to be stored, and this is a place where they are going to store. Corpus caudate. Corpora cardiaca store and release neurohormone. Prosthetic gland secrete echidism, or you can say molting hormone. Prosthetic gland, where it is in this diagram. I think they didn't show it here, but it is just in between these neurosecretory cell and corpus allum. There, here, this one, just beneath the corpus atom or in the mid between. And these large gland you can see in the medium section here. These are the protheric glands. They secrete the echidocins, or you can say the molting hormone. Next is here corpora alata, that secretes juvenile hormone. Okay, when the some insects is in their juvenile stage, so these are the one who is going to secrete the juvenile hormone. So you can see the part are here: corpus cardiaca, protheric glands, corpus alata. They are the one who combinedly regulating the endocrine system of insects. Pituitary gland, if we talk about, this is an important kind of gland here. So the largest and most obvious endocrine gland are found in the pituitary just behind the head. So where it is present just behind the head portion. These pituitary glands manufacture acetosteroids, a group of closely related steroid hormones. So whatever the steroid hormone that will be present inside the body, that has to be regulated or manufactured by this prethoric gland that stimulates synthesis of chitin and protein in epidermal cell and trigger a cascade of physiological events that culminates in molting. So all the things they will be going to synthesize, or you can say the stimulate by this whole process of prethoric gland, like the synthesis of chitin, proteins in epidermal cell trigger a cascade. All the physiological activity they should be initiated from their functioning. For this reason, the endosteroids are often called as molting hormones. So that's why the whatever the hormones which are being sent or manufactured by the prothallic gland, they also can call the molting hormone. These are the important kind of hormones present inside the insects. Once the insect reaches the adult stage, its protheric gland atrophy wither away and it will never molt again. So basically, when it is mostly in the juvenile stage, when they got to their adult stage or maturity, their protheric gland basically wither away, or you can say just go away, and it will never molt again. So they will never go to molt again. You can see how beautifully when they go to this stage they are going to continue. Okay. So protheric gland produce and release endocytosis only they have been stimulated by another chemical messenger, that is protheriotropic hormone. So this is another hormone. On their stimulation only, PTTH, they will going to produce hormone. This compound is peptide hormone secreted by the corpora cardiaca. So on the above here, corpora cardiaca that we just talk about. My laptop is going to hang. Corpora cardiaca, they are responsible for producing this PTTH, a pair of neurohormonal organ located in the wall of aorta just behind the brain. Corporocardiaca release their store of PTTH only after they receive a signal from neurosecretory cell in the brain. So these corporocardiaca, they are getting the signal from brain, and they are going to give the signal to the protheric gland, then protheric gland going to secrete the hormones. So they are all are connected. They are working in a collaboration. So in a sense, they act as a signal amplifier, sending out a big impulse of hormone to the body in response to a small messenger of the brain. So you can also say that they just work as a amplifier, like PCR work, doing a small amount there, creating a numbers of copy and amplify them. Same here, whatever the signal they got, this corporal cardiaca, they got a signal from the brain, but that is very small and cannot affect on the protheric gland. So basically, they are the mediators, and they are going to amplify that particular signal and making it more. Then they can going to stimulate the protheric gland in the form of PTTH. The corpus allata, second one, another pair of neurohormonal organ. Okay, it lies just behind the corpus cardiaca. So they just behind the corpus cardiaca. They manufacture juvenile hormone, JH for short, and a compound for inhibit development of adult characteristic during the immature stage and promote sexual maturity during the adult stage. So, what is the function of juvenile hormone here? That they are functioning like compound that inhibit development of adult characteristic when they are immature. So he actually making balance when they are juvenile. They are just stimulating the juvenile characteristic. When they are going to adult, they are giving them the maturity. So it making a balance in between their ages, maturity and juvenility. Neurosecretory cell in the brain regulate activity of the corpus allata and stimulating them to produce of JH during larval and nymphal instars, inhibiting them during the transition to adulthood and reactivating them once adult is ready for reproduction. So basically, these corpus illata, which produce juvenile hormone, they also work on the signal from the neurosecretory cells. So the brain activity, they based on the brain activity, and this stimulation of JH, how and what place at the juvenile stage, they give them signal to produce. So the juvenile get the adulthood. When the adulthood start, they suppress their you can say suppress their secretion, and when they get a proper adulthood and they just become mature, so they again stimulate give the stimulation them to release for making them ready for the reproduction. So this is in the way that secretory cell chemical composition are regulating whole of the functions inside the insect. The chemical structure of juvenile hormone is rather unusual. It is sesquiterpene compound, more similar to the defensive chemical found in pine trees than to any other animal hormone. So they are very, this compound that is very you can say uncommon. This is unique and only found in some certain pairs. Neurosecretory cells are found in cluster both medullary and laterally in the insect brain. So the neurosecretory cell, which basically intermediate between the neurons and the secretory endocrine cells, they just present laterally in the insect brain. Axons from these cells are traced along tiny nerve that runs in the corpus cardiac and corpus allata. Axon also, when we scanned it, we found the traces along tiny nerves inside the corpus cardiac and corpus allata, because they are the one who is transmitting all the information when and how they are going to stimulate. So these, I think that is all enough for you to understand that how this whole body data and function works, and the cells also produce brain hormone in a very low molecular weight. So every time when this brain secretes a hormone that is in a very small amount, the major amplification function is done by this cardita and elita. They actually amplify the hormones and giving them to the other part so they can work according to work on an amplified version, because low amount cannot be able to make them stimulate, so that's why they need some amplifiers. Okay, these are some, active principles, origin, targets, function. You can, if you wanted to, more knowledge about what kind of selected hormones are present in here, you can also go through these. They are the, more elaborated thing on the basis of the particular origin, target, and their functional role. What kind of role they present inside them, and what are their target site from which they originate. So these all the information we can got from here. Okay, so I think this is all about the insect hormone. What you have to remember that they're having these four important organs, and collaboratively they are working on their endocrine system, and the brain, which is related to all the activity. Even just if we leave the endocrine glands, all other organs are related or work on the command of brain. If brain is not ready to do something, they cannot do anything. And endocrine glands, they have their own some work to perform. So I think they can secrete and produce hormone on their own will, but also they are also associated with the nervous system. They can't just do it by their own, because everything inside the body, either we are talking about the insects or we are talking about the humans, they all work on the nervous system, how the nervous system is going to govern. So on the basis of these, they function. Still, you guys wanted to have more knowledge on the sex hormone or any other hormones, so we can go through these human physiological system and endocrine, and you can have the more knowledge about it. That's all for today. Thank you. Still, you guys have any problem, you can ask me.